My name is Deepa. I am the founder and CEO of Journeys from Zinda, a software platform that is for organizations to help them act as one. Welcome to Shakti Shots. This episode is all about career agility. What do you need to do when your career stagnates? So now, as you know, Shakti Shots is all about two simple things. One is there is a challenge, and we have a panelist who has either a secret sauce or a superpower that can solve the challenge. Now, let me introduce to you Marti Konstant. Marti is our esteemed panelist for today. I'm going to hand it over to Marti to tell us a little bit about herself.
Thank you so much, Deepa, for that introduction. I'm really excited to be here today and to be able to talk about a challenge or a problem that everyone has and a solution for it. So I am a workplace futurist. That is what I have been working on for the last 7 years. And I originally, before I came to this point in my career, as I started my career out as a designer, then got my MBA, got a marketing management perspective on things, and worked in the marketing profession for a number of years. Mm-hmm. And while I was a chief marketer, I observed that software development professionals were doing something really awesome. They were collaborating with each other in a way that we weren't doing in the marketing department. They were having frequent meetings, they were unearthing problems, and they were making their projects more streamlined. In other words, they wouldn't have 100 features on the project because it wouldn't get done. Right. They might streamline it to 20 features. Mm-hmm. So they were smart on the front end in defining their project. And I came to learn that this was agile software development. Yep. And why is this important? I thought, why don't we do this for the management of one's own career? Mm-hmm. And 7 years ago, when I typed in the word career agility on Google, there was nothing there. I started calling it the agile career, but that was relating to people that were agile coaches within organizations. Yeah. But this was something different. Mm-hmm. And so I've spent the better part of 7 years on the side while I was working in my other job, researching, writing, and talking about this concept. And in that time, I researched and I wrote a book called Activate Your Agile Career.
Very cool.
So very nice. So that's a little bit of my background.
Excellent, excellent. So you are a
workplace futurist.
Workplace futurist. I was going to say, okay, workplace futurist. Gotcha. So, the topic is all about. I think this is something that all of us have experienced at some point of time in our careers. It is about, there is something that we start on a career, we get really good at it, and after a point of time, we kind of reach our glass ceiling, if you will, right? We reach our point where the work is not that exciting anymore, and our career kind of stagnates a little bit. Now, this is something which, in the current scenario with COVID and everything, this might not be top of everybody's minds at this time, but I would suggest that this is a perfect opportunity for us to really think about our careers and really make a plan for it when we actually get back to our typical way of operation, right? So in this situation of stagnation with career, what can we do? What can we do about this, Marti? Tell us your secret sauce, your superpower. Tell us what we can do.
So the first thing is, you don't have to stagnate. The situation that you described was me many years ago. I wrote this book really for a younger version of myself. Very successful woman, getting lots of promotions, working really hard, but there was something missing. And I felt at that time that I wasn't learning and growing the way that I needed to. And I come to find out that a lot of people feel like this. Mm-hmm. And that was a problem. And I thought, well, what is this problem? It was like a steadfast thinker versus an agile thinker. And I came upon stagnation. So agility is the cure for stagnation. So if you think of things that are when you're flexible, in order to get, say, across a stream of water, mm-hmm. you have a lot of variables. You have wind, you have water, you might have rain, all those things. And in order to get from one end to the other, you have to get to one rock or a piece of wood and stabilize yourself, figure things out. Liken that to your career. You have to figure it out. And then as you get comfortable with that, you can grow and move on to the next thing and the next thing until you get truly across that stream. So the stream is the metaphor of some of the roadblocks that you might go through, like with the wind and the rain and the water. And getting to the other side is getting to that next goal that you want to achieve. So that's the problem. So I really started to say agility, career agility solves the problem of stagnation. And if it's okay with you, I would love to share with you
of course, yeah,
the research that I did before writing this book. So I will share the screen.
Absolutely.
Okay.
When did you write the book, Marti?
I wrote the book over a period of 5 years, and it was published a little over a year and a half ago.
Gotcha. And it's in Amazon.
It's on Amazon, that's correct.
Gotcha.
Okay. So here it is. So I conducted research, 120 people, so just like you and me and a bunch of others, 3 different generations, the boomers, the Gen Xers, and the millennials, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And I had a series of questions, and I tried to better understand why some people always land on their feet and why other people stagnate, or why they're more steadfast in their thinking. Yeah. And I discovered that we all fall on this curve between steadfast and agile, between steadfast and growth, between rigid and flexible. These are all the terms that are related to to how we think about this. And I wanted to understand in producing this book and creating a career agility model, I wanted to understand, why is it that some people are so flexible or innately flexible? And then the second question was, can this be learned? And the answer is, it absolutely can be learned. And the other thing that after all of this research was done, I developed this career agility model.
Wow.
And this is a journey. This is a really fun journey. If you start on the left-hand side and where the start button is, and this is your education, your training, whatever that is. It could be a college, it could be a certain kind of technical training, but in that time period, before you know what you really want in life, you're exploring, you're refining, you're asking questions. What is it that I want to do? What are my strengths? What are my likes? What are my dislikes? These are things that we should be doing all the time, but we typically do them more at the beginning before we get that first major role. And then we put a stake in the ground and we say, there's a career hypothesis here. I want to be a marketer. I want to be an engineer. Typically you're choosing that by the time you get to college, but you might switch your major 4 or 5 times as well. And then you go along that curve to where the little star is, where it starts. And if you think about this series of circles, it's a figure 8 on its side. And there's a number of things that one can do to fully optimize their career and to get on that growth trajectory versus the stagnation one. Nobody wants to stagnate. Nobody wants to be unhappy. And people, they want to pursue things like creativity, growth, and happiness. And this is a perfect model for that. So these 7 principles, they're not in any particular order, but the first one is a project mindset. If you view your career as a series of projects, people are excited when they start a new project. They're engaged, highly engaged.
Absolutely.
But they reach a lull. And we want to capture that lull before it goes down and get on to the next project. And it's not necessarily the next job. It could just be another project within your same profession or something that's going to get you more engaged. And this is incumbent not just on your boss and HR, but also you. This is personal accountability. And I'm not going to go through all these. I'm just going to go through a couple. The next one would be A/B testing your career. So say you start out in engineering. I know that you started out in engineering. But later on, you think, well, I just really think everything I know about product design and product launches, I think I'd really love to pursue marketing. There's nothing wrong with that. You can A/B test that in sequence or A/B test it on the side. In other words, you could take on a project on the side that's in the marketing department, maybe support a trade show launch or a product launch in the marketing perspective, still doing your other job. So you have the permission, you can give yourself permission during college, during your training, to test, do I like this one better? Do I like project A or job A better, or job B better? And there's a number of these that I could go through, but for the sake of time, I think we can talk about them maybe in a Q&A format as we move on here.
Sure, absolutely. Can I ask a couple of questions here?
Sure.
So this area right here with the explore, refine, does this happen during college? Is this where this happens, and then this is where the start of career? Is that?
Yeah, it happens there, but you'll notice that the series of 2 circles, figure 8 on its side.
Yeah.
You can go back to that part at any time. And all those squigglies, I call this personal design thinking.
Gotcha.
You're the product to understand what it is you like. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. So this is the 8 you're talking about, right? So this is the small 8 and this is the big 8. So at any given point of time, you could be 21 here, you started your career, you have a project mindset, you did the A/B testing, went through this loop. You could be 27 and you could actually, based on the feedback, you actually could be redoing this and come back and start all over again. Is that what it means?
You can start out, and I encourage people, we should always be asking ourselves what we like. We should always be taking the strengths test to better understand. We need personal awareness. And you'll see the dotted line where it says respond to change, that circle. That's something that one should always, that's one of the key principles, understanding where are the changes in your profession, in your industry, where are the changes in your personal life.
This is fascinating.
All these changes, and then you go back into it, and there's no sequence that these things have to be done in. You can do them in any sequence whatsoever. You don't have to do all of them.
Gotcha. This is awesome. I wish I had this when I was, I kind of came to the conclusion myself, but I wish I had this all these years when I'm like, I don't think I'm learning anything new. I'm getting really good at my job. I can do my job with my eyes closed is what I used to think. So this would have been a really good thing to look at. And by the way, I see what you did, Marti, here. You took your marketing expertise and applied it to career, right? You pretty much took marketing and agility and applied it together to career. This is awesome. This is very cool.
And I tip my hat to the software engineering profession, because that's really where their agile software manifesto was in the year 2000. Agile marketing, of which I was a part of, the manifesto was in 2012. Agile HR was in 2014. So you can see
that is still going on.
It's still going on. So it's being applied to all the different functions of an organization.
Very cool. I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah. So it's a circular thing. And then if we just drill down, I'm not going to go through all of them, but if you think about this idea of a series of projects, I thought about this when I read The Startup of You by the founder of LinkedIn. Yeah. And it was he talked about, he saw really smart people coming into the LinkedIn organization and optimizing their strengths and working on a project and on a role, and that you should work yourself out of that role within 2 years.
Gotcha.
And what happens when you do that, you're always bringing fresh ideas into a function, into an organization. Absolutely. And if you look at this is the life cycle of a project. Now, we don't really want to, get to the growth and then we get all that mastery and we love what we do and it's kind of easy. We don't want to get on that decline. It's like,
Right.
that's what we're screaming. We want to get out of here. And people look at your job and say, why are you unhappy? You have the perfect job.
Right. Right.
And you do. You've got a lot of
Yep.
perks. You might have a couple promotions. But look at it this way. If you look at it as a series of projects and you take it to sustain the engagement, project 1, project 2, they could be job 1, job 2, job 3, or it could be project 1, project 2, project 3 within your same function within the organization. But the idea is to keep yourself engaged and entertained with your work so that you can optimize things like creativity, growth.
And we need that, right? I mean, human brain needs entertainment, unfortunately, right? We need to be entertaining ourselves all the time. Otherwise, we get bored out of our skull, right?
Right, right.
This is awesome, Marty. This is very cool.
I was trying to stop the share here, Deepa, and I've lost my. I'm having a technical glitch right now. It's not the cursor is missing in action. So let me see if I can do it.
No worries. So
okay, well, we may have to leave that on there.
That's fine.
I have two screens going right now. I have 2 screens going.
Gotcha. So you have 2 computers, right? That is also the other thing with agility, right? Too much agility sometimes is a little bit of a problem, right?
Yeah. So I love the way that you started out. You started out the mid-careerist in a time of change scenario. And that's, I hired out a research firm to do survey research with middle careerists, people that were basically Gen Xers, to understand what it's like in the middle of your career and to get a little bit more research and questions accomplished. So that happened as I was writing the book as well.
Gotcha. Interesting. Very cool. Very cool. So, so for people that are out there, Marty, do you have any, so this is really good information. What kind of challenge would you have for them, for people that might be experiencing it now, where people are like, hey, I'm really good at my job. I can do it with my eyes closed. I might be getting a little bored here. Do you have any challenge for them?
Okay, each of these principles has a whole set of challenges and things to do.
Yeah.
But I think what would be good for people who don't know, like very often at mid-career, it's like, I know what I don't want, but I'm not too certain what I do want. I would challenge them to do 3 things. I would challenge them to go back and retake any type of strengths test to understand the things that they really care about and that they're good about. And I would also challenge them to then take that information, set it off to the side, and then write an email or have conversations with 10 people that know them.
Gotcha.
And say, what do you think are my strengths? What's my secret sauce?
Got it. Okay.
What am I better at than anyone else that you've seen me in the workplace?
Yeah. And
you'd be surprised at the reflection that you get back of yourself that actually complements the strengths that you take with an assessment. And you get that really lovely qualitative information about yourself.
Got it. Okay.
And then thirdly, I would say I have this section called Activate the Feedback Squad. I would have some conversations with, say, 3 people that are doing something really interesting. It doesn't have to be where you want to go. It doesn't have to be your profession. It could be somebody that works at IDEO in design thinking and creating new products. And you know nothing about that.
Yeah.
But having the time to sit with them on Zoom today and say, what is it about your role that you love and why are you doing what you're doing?
Gotcha.
And to get them to answer that question, you're going to be able to cross-pollinate your thinking about what's possible for you. Because part of your feedback squad will be right in your department. Too. So, but you're going to look at someone who's doing something different than what you're doing, or maybe further on from what you're doing. Maybe it's just more responsibility.
Gotcha.
So those are the 3 things that I would challenge.
Awesome. And I think the one thing that you said at the very beginning is your career is not something for HR to determine, right? It's something that you have to take control for yourself. And you are providing them techniques of how exactly to do that, right?
Right, right.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and it's,
Thank you
you
so
know,
much.
this whole thing is about personal accountability.
Mhm.
I finally figured it out. I got the thing off.
Right.
Personal accountability is what it's about. You are in control
Mhm.
of what's happening.
Yeah.
It's up to you to ask for that training or to
Yeah.
manufacture the training on the outside, on
Right.
the side.
Gotcha. So this is, okay, don't let things happen to you. Take control, right?
Right,
And this is,
right.
it's actually interesting because a lot of the panelists, it's really all about that. It is about, because it's all about you kind of taking control. And if you have the mindset to do that, there are techniques to really make that happen, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Marty. This was awesome, amazing. Career agility. You are the workforce futurist, right?
That's
Did I get that
correct.
right? Okay.
That's correct. And
Excellent.
anybody who wants access to my career agility guide or my 29-page white paper on workforce agility, you can just send me a note, or off of martikonstant.com, which is the website.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So that's it, guys. That is today's episode of Shakti Shot. It is all about how do you revive a stagnating career. Marti Konstant. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Deepa.
Bye, Marty. Thank you.